Well, howdy motherfucking doody, guys. She's back with another YouTube video. Okay, so this one is for, that's a weird angle. This one is pretty much for, this one is for pretty much working while you have like mental health issues. So these are just kind of tips for either you, the person having the mental health issues. If you're a manager, you can watch this. If you're a significant other, you can watch this. It's just like random tips and like a little stories I have for examples and stuff. So point one I want to make is, I'm gonna learn how to pronounce this, but differentiating the difference of your boss being unapproachable, or is it just your anxiety that makes you not able to approach them because you're like freaked out? Before you try to say your boss is unapproachable, think about it maybe. What makes them unapproachable? What gave you that impression in the first place? Just so you can figure out is it just like your head playing tricks on you? Are you just anxious, or are they really unapproachable? If they're unapproachable, that's a problem. That's something that you can talk to someone above them. If you're comfortable enough, you can have a seat with them and talk to them about it, because maybe they are open and they just don't know how to be approachable for the things that you need to communicate about. An example I have for a manager who is not approachable. This one was good at acting approachable. She was good at acting like they're your friend. But what would happen is if you went to go complain about something, as in like the way maybe another manager or another associate was treating you or talking to you, or something you saw that you didn't like, as in it just didn't fit the ethics of the workplace, whatever, what she would do is she would just talk to other managers about you behind your back, talk to her favorite employees about you behind your back. Just someone like that has no business running an entire store, in my opinion. This, I'm not gonna say like which jobs or like what year or anyone's names or anything. I've had a few jobs, so you can't tell what I'm talking about unless you've worked there. So that's someone who is not approachable. After she was no longer there anymore, we got a manager who was very approachable. You could talk to her as a manager, or you could say, listen, I just need to vent. She was always good about that. She always said, if you need to vent, like the manager's office is a safe spot to do so. I was missing a lot of work at one point due to my illnesses, whether it be physical or mental. And her and the other manager sat me down and they kind of said, you're out of sick days. You're out of discretionary days. They gave me a sheet of paper kind of letting me know, like when I got this job, what the absent like requirements were or whatever. This was not threatening in any way. She just gave it to me so I can visually see it. This manager would usually visually show you stuff, talk to you about it. It's like she covered all assets pretty much. And at the end of that meeting, she and the other manager were like, Talene, are you okay? So they asked me, is everything okay? And I said, listen, I'm on the waiting list for a psychiatrist right now, and I'm trying. I just need this psychiatrist. And they were like, good, like, I'm glad you're taking steps forward. That's awesome. If you need anything, just let us know. And that's very important, that meetings with your managers doesn't feel like a threat. A tip that I thought was really smart is, if you're like me and if something's wrong and if someone asks you what's wrong, okay, like just imagine you're having a shit day. What's wrong? Like, what's going on? Is everything okay? What happened? Are you like, what, like it's too fucking much. So what I think is a good idea, I haven't tried it, but what I think would be a good idea is having a clip or a bracelet or like a rubber band or something that's like a bright color that when you're wearing it, this is why another reason it's important to have a manager you really trust. When you're wearing it, your manager knows you're having a hard day. So what they might do is like take you aside and ask like, what do you need? Do you need me to just like kind of let you do your own thing today? Do you want me to come check on you every so often to make sure you're not too stressed? What do you need? So that's awesome. If you don't have a manager like that, hopefully you have like one employee who you're close with who can help you in that kind of a way, because it's like shitty, man, to feel alone and like when you're super stressed and you just don't want to ask for help. But like this way, You don't have to. There's a signal on you. They'll know something's up. That's why it's important to talk to the person to know what they should do in that situation to help, because everyone doesn't like the same things. Some people want to be left alone. For me, I was just talking to Doug about this the other day. I think it would be nice if, like, when I say, like, leave me alone, like, I need to be alone, for him to be like, okay, I'll come back in 10 minutes and check on you. Because then I know I have 10 minutes to just calm down. And I also know that Doug still gives a fuck. That he's going to come back in 10 minutes. I'm not going to be alone for hours. If you do the bracelet thing, maybe you can come up with ideas beforehand, before talking to your manager. It's good to maybe have some of your own ideas first, so maybe you can kind of take charge, because it's your illness. Hopefully by now you kind of a little bit know how to soothe yourself, or what your triggers are. I don't remember why the fuck I just started saying this. Hold on. I'll give you a few examples. I'm a dog groomer. So let's just say I was working in like a corporate area and there was like a bunch of groomers and a bunch of clients at one time. Something I could tell the coworker or the manager who I trust is, listen, like, I feel like shit today. I really don't want to do any walk-ins. And hopefully, like, that person can understand that. Obviously, it really matters what kind of a job you have and like, how far you can push that type of a thing. I don't know, dude, if you work like at a like, I don't know, because I've never worked in like a restaurant or anything. So you have to think of different options that will help you, but won't screw up everyone else. Think about you, but just a little bit think about how it'll just make it easier for your boss or your employer to get on the same page with you, if it's not going to like fuck up the workplace. Like, if I were just to say, like, listen, I'm in a bad mood, I'm not fucking taking any phone calls, and I'm not doing any nail trims. No, you gotta be approachable yourself and reasonable. You can't, like, you might not get far in your job if you say, like, I'm having a shitty day, so you can set some boundaries for the day, like I said. But you know what? If it's a really busy day, sometimes you just have to, and that fucking sucks. But I've made it past those days. I'm sure you guys have had those days, and we're still here. You're still watching this video. I'm still making this video. So we've got past it. We'll get past it again. It'll happen again, and we'll get past it again. It's important to trust the person you tell, whether it be, again, like the manager or another employee. The reason it's important is because they unfortunately, people twist shit around. Unfortunately, people will use your mental illness against you or to talk shit about you. Sometimes I've been there, like 1,000 times. But it's important to find a support system, especially if you're always at work, like if you're full-time, if you're, like, you know what I mean? You're there for, like, I feel like a majority of your fucking life. Like, there are times where I see, when I used to have my other job, my coworkers more than I see my parents. So, you know, like, and whether you guys believe it or not, and whether there's a fucking workaholic in your family who's told you something different, or not everyone is made for a 40-hour full-time job. I'm not. I know a lot of people work more than 40 hours. Some people work like 70-hour weeks. Like, good for you, congratulations. I'm so happy if you're healthy and you can do that. Like, that's awesome. No, not me. No. Try to not be scared to talk to your managers about different options, because I found out that I'm actually able to work 36 hours instead of 40 and still get my benefits. So it's just 4 hours less, but that makes a pretty big difference. Like, having a half day instead of having a full day for one of those days makes a difference. Just talking and figuring out different options and raising your concerns, sometimes you're like, shit, that was easy. That solution was found pretty fast. Because, you know, like, some people do actually want to help you. Some managers are actually good people. Not all of them, but some. But if it's affecting you that much, I think you should maybe consider whether it be switching locations if it's a chain, or maybe getting a different job. And I know it's easier said than done. I know people have families and kids, pets that they have to feed and stuff. But you do have to remember that your mental health is really important. If you're a pissed off person all the time because of like the stress and the work and stuff, like when you go home, you're not gonna be that nice, in my opinion, to your kids or your dogs or your significant other, or maybe even to yourself. So if you need help figuring out budgeting, or whether or not you can maybe take less shifts, or maybe your significant other can even take less shifts if you're stressed out about coming home from work and all the stuff you have to do, because coming home from work is still work if you don't have a proper support system. So it's also important for things at home to be communication-y as well. Also, I'm sure you guys know this, but don't forget that there are rights for like mental health and stuff. I'm not really sure what they are, so I can't tell you, but if something doesn't feel right to you, you can talk to someone. You can ask your parents, your friends, your siblings, your significant other if that shit is normal. Maybe get an extra opinion, because I found that a lot of shit happens to people and they think it's normal, but it's not right, and it's just happened to them, so they're like, it's normal. If something is bothering you, you don't need to tell that manager or ask them for the number for HR, human resources, or someone higher up from them. That is something that can be done confidentially, and if it is a proper work environment, they're not like you should not get in trouble for that. You won't be getting bashed for that. You shouldn't be getting hate for that. If you are, then something's wrong. And again, HR, leave that job and fight. Not like this, but like fight. I don't know what the fuck that was for, but like fight for your fucking right to party, bro. Because like, the reason why I want people to be careful with who they tell about at work about their like mental illnesses and whatnot is because people will use it to their advantage. For instance, I had this who I worked with.
So what she did was use, I guess, my anger that NDPD has against me. What she did was she started telling people at the store that I smashed a phone at work out of anger, which was like work property, not my own phone. And again, that was that amazing anger. So I almost fucking died when I heard. I was like, the fuck? So she sat me down in the break room and she said, like, I was the one who said it. And she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I forget why she said it. Like, maybe she thought she saw it or something. Then I find out that she literally told the manager that she was scared for like the manager to come talk to me, or for herself to come talk to me, just thought I was gonna beat her up. I'll be telling people that you're fucking scared of me, because the reason she did that is so it seemed like I was a danger to the workplace and I was destroying work property and I could handle customers. That was the big scheme. And then when she ended up leaving,
Bye, no one gives a fuck about you. Bye.
another coworker approached me and told me that when they were in, the person who started rumors told the other coworker, like, make sure you lock the doors because I'm really scared to leave, he's gonna attack me.
Like, I mean, to be honest, I take it as a compliment. Like,
He's not fucking scared of me, but then I'm also like,
but that's why I want people to be careful about who they trust at the workplace, because something that's hard for me to do, because I do get my feelings hurt a lot, is sometimes you do just have to realize it's work and it's not personal. Sometimes it's hard to differentiate the two, especially when you are close with the people that you work with and you consider them like kind of like friends. It's hard because sometimes you need to get the work done and you can't always be friendly. You just have to be an associate. So try not to get your feelings hurt. It's literally probably not about you. And if there is a lot of gossip and talking behind each other's back at work, and it's just the way things are and you're not really gonna go above and beyond about it, which is perfectly fine. You can set boundaries. An example I have that happened to me is that there was someone talking about one of my friends at work, but they would never talk about them when I was there. And one of my another coworker would kind of always tell me, because she always felt so much pressure. Like, she didn't like hearing it either, because like, so she would always come and talk to me and tell me what this person was saying, and they would always say like, please don't tell anyone because they'll know I told you, and that always puts me in a very hard position. Anyway, so I had to tell this person who kept telling me about the trash talking, and I said, listen, if there's nothing I can do about it, you don't want me to confront them myself, or any of this, I said, maybe just stop telling me, because it makes me so stressed out and so anxious that there's nothing I can do, and I just have fucking rage boiling inside of me. And the person did stop telling me, and the anxieties of it actually just melted away because I didn't have to hear it. So almost in my brain, it was like it wasn't even happening. So those are the few tips that I have on workplace and mental health and kind of your own things you could do, stuff that you can tell your manager to help you with, or if you're a manager watching things you can maybe do for your employees. Watch other videos, because I'm not a professional. I'm just talking from my own experiences. I hope this video helps someone. Like, I feel like at least one of the tips will help, so hopefully it does, and I'll see you guys for the next video.